So usually the pre-taped NXT episodes that they do preceding a NXT takeover are not that great. They're usually shitty matches, a lot of hype reels and whatever, and half the time I don't bother reviewing them, but buckle up, because this was a weirdly good show. Let's talk about it. For the third time in 2 days, what's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your January 31st NXT reviews. Third time in 2 days. Yes, go back, check it out. I did my review for the Mixed Match Challenge, the Ginger Snaps versus Team Little Big, which is still a stupid name. And yes, once again, I am reviewing 205 Live. Laugh at me if you will. Drake Maverick, the new general manager, setting up that tournament to crown a new cruiserweight champion after my boy Enzo got fucked by 2018-ism. We're going to talk about that more later on, but let's get on with the house cleaning. First and foremost, the pay-per-view pick'ems for NXT Takeover Philadelphia and the Royal Rumble. I didn't announce these the other 2 nights because this NXT, although I'm reviewing other things now, NXT is still sort of the hub on this channel. It's where I do most of my general announcements for you guys and whatnot, and I'd like to keep it that way, you know, do all the house cleaning in one spot rather than rambling through it on every single video that I do. Stay tuned. Hopefully this Friday there's going to be another episode of Aftermath. Myself, Christian, and Guapo talking about everything, all the fallout from both TakeOver Philadelphia and the Royal Rumble. But we've got the pay-per-view pick'em, and that's what I know you guys are really here for, aren't you? Yeah, you are. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, the scores are as follows. Me at the bottom with 7, Mizark 10 down there with me at 7, Guapo at 9, ABJ 504 at 11, Kristen at 12, and Strife19 is your winner at 13. For the Royal Rumble itself, Strife goes down to the bottom of the list. Guapo and Kristen follow him at 15 apiece. Matt D gets 18, I get 19, I get runner-up, that's kind of cool. And Mizark 10, starting off the year for the main event pay-per-views with 21 points, gets the win for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view pick'em. Now, NXT for the 31st of January 2018, emanating, as we know, from the Wells Fargo Center. It was filmed before TakeOver, wasn't it? So all the stars that you saw at TakeOver, you're not going to see tonight, other than in hype packages. We see a highlight reel from TakeOver. It's all good. I love TakeOver, by the way. We're going to talk about that more on Friday, which is why I'm not going to dwell on it too much here. But we start off with my girl, Nikki Cross, taking on Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, we remember last week, basically came out, beat the fuck out of Aaliyah, and talked shit about the whole division and called Nikki Cross crazy. And then we found out that Nikki Cross was going to face her tonight on the bigger stage. It's all good. I have to imagine that even the people on the regular taped NXT episode that get to do it in the big arena where TakeOver is taking place, it's kind of like being on the pre-show at WrestleMania. You're really still part of WrestleMania. These matches, especially for the people that were in the arena, were part of the TakeOver Philadelphia experience. So this is sort of the post show, if that makes sense. Anyways, this match wasn't very long, but it was pretty good. Crossbody by Nikki Cross to start, ironically enough. Ground and pound by Cross and a boot by Evans. A face plant on the apron by Cross. Just takes her out at the knees and she face plants the ring apron, which, as my good buddy Taz would tell you, is the hardest part of the ring. Then she gets trapped in the apron and beaten down by a very, very insane Nikki Cross. Takedown from the second turnbuckle by Evans. A Thez press by Evans, who misses a moonsault. Rolling clotheslines by Cross. Fisherman's neckbreaker gets the win. And of course, because she's crazy, she celebrates for about half a second and goes back to beating up Lacey Evans as we switch segments. We do a big focus on the tag team title match from TakeOver, AOP failing in their attempts to get their titles off the ROH boys, which is fine and wonderful. I mean, one of the things that I want to mention, and I'm probably going to go into greater detail on Friday with Kristen and Guapo, is the fact that we had a couple different returns/debuts pictured in the crowd like they usually do. One of them was this Team War Machine. Now, you guys know me. I make fun of the Undisputed Era because it's a retarded name for a faction, and I just call them the ROH boys. I don't watch ROH. I know that War Machine is apparently a big tag team from ROH. These look like big motherfuckers. Now, if they wanted to make an impact they could have gone in, faced off with the Authors of Pain after they lost their match, you know, pick at them while they're at their weakest, and establish themselves as the next big tag team. I think that was a big missed opportunity, especially for somebody who's not familiar with this team, a fan that's going to be watching them, you know, presumably in the next coming weeks or months. That would have been a really cool way to introduce this team to me, other than just having them sit in the crowd and waving. I think they really had a missed opportunity there. It's not the end of the world. They'll debut, they'll kill people, they'll do what Authors of Pain does against the Jobbers, and we'll all move on. Then we have a focus on the women's match from TakeOver. Baszler in the back after the match saying that things went exactly the way she wanted to, and Ember Moon didn't win, she just barely survived. Why don't you go to the change room and ask her if she feels like a winner right now? Which ironically transitions into her the very next night coming out and taking part in the Women's Royal Rumble. So the way they edited that together made Shayna Baszler kind of look like an idiot, but it's nothing of her own volition. Sorry, I have to fix something. There's something on my screen here that's just not doing what I want it to do. So because I'm super professional, I'm going to fix that right in front of you guys. Next, we have focus on the match between Black versus Cole. This was the second best match of the night, a hell of a lot better than I was gonna say. I would have thought, which is saying something, because going into this pay-per-view, this is the match I was most looking forward to. All I will say, for now, that backbreaker over the spines of the chairs wasn't right. Anyways, we see the ROH boys after the match ranting about their loss, and they threaten Sanity, which leads to Mauro Ranallo announcing that the ROH boys are going to get a chance to deal with Sanity because they have to defend their tag team titles against Eric Young and Alexander Wolf next week, which is not only fun, but not the best piece of news we get tonight. Oh no, we focus on Dream. Speaking of oh no, we get focus on the match between Dream versus Oh no, which I'm not going to lie to you, I barely remember. Oh yes, because I don't care about Kazuchika Ono. You know what else I don't care about? I don't care about TM61 taking on the Ely brothers. TM61 won because it's their comeback match, and that's all I'm going to say about that. We focus a lot on the Gargano and Almas match, deservedly so. Early runner for best match of the year, if you want my honest opinion. Once again, I hate to keep saying it, but we're going to touch on this in more detail on Friday. Obviously, the involvement of Zelina Vega, who I've dubbed the Spanish Trish Stratus, which seems to amuse a lot of people. The re-debuting Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano's wife, who we already saw in the Mae Young Classic. If you missed my coverage of that, go back. It's in there somewhere. Also, the involvement at the very end of the returning Tommaso Ciampa. Now, I will say, when we did the pay-per-view pick'em, I threw in a bonus question. Hey, do you think that Tommaso Ciampa is going to get involved in the match? And I picked yes, and I got that point, because Tommaso Ciampa there with the friggin' crutch and everything. And I mean, you get the pretty much predictable backstage video after that as a bunch of media trying to get a word with Tommaso Ciampa, and he's the big psychotic guy, and you see him walking away. You can tell that he needs the crutch, but he's not using the crutch. He's dragging the bent crutch behind him as more of a souvenir than a walking aid, which is cool, because he's so out there to make a point that this is now a trophy of the damage that he's done, that he doesn't even want to use it as the walking aid that it is intended to be. I think that's a really good thing there. In addition to Fish and O'Reilly taking on Wolf and Young next week, the war between the ROH boys and Sanity continues with Adam Cole, Bebe, versus Killian Dane, and we see a brief video package of Adam Cole as well participating in the Royal Rumble. We see Andrade Cien Almas participating in the Royal Rumble as well. Now, there's people out there that have mixed opinions of the NXT champions participating in the Royal Rumble, knowing that they're going to be eliminated, but I mean, they're at the Royal Rumble. It's the Rumble. Fuck off. And also, in the still shots that they showed, it showed a lot of shots that involved Almas and Cole. A little bit of foreshadowing for Adam Cole, presumably getting into the title picture sometime soon, which is what I would really like. Mini Shawn Michaels can be the next title holder. I am okay with that. Now, what we have here, what we have in the main event, is awesome and really confusing at the same time. It's a #1 contendership match for the WWE UK title between Tyler Bate, former champion, first ever champion, and Roderick Strong, who's at the very least not from the UK. Now, this is further ironic if you did watch my review of 205 Live and the beginnings of this cruiserweight tournament that they have. One of the matches that they had last night was TJP versus Tyler Bate. Now that's fine and wonderful and whatever. Now he's, you know, he was on the 205, now he's on NXT, he's got a lot of exposure, but he's also facing Roderick Strong, who's facing Hideo Itami next week on 205 Live as part of that Cruiserweight Championship. So really, at this point, what they're creating, and I'm perfectly okay with it, is you've got Raw, you've got SmackDown, and you've got this 1/3 brand that consists of 205 Live, NXT, and the UK guys. That's a hell of a roster. I'm just putting that one out there. Anyways, collar and elbow tie up to start, and Strong works the arm. Bate reverses and works the arm. You know, anything you can do, I can do better. You guys know I love that. Drop kick by Bate and an airplane spin. Suspension, double underhook DDT into a backbreaker by Roderick Strong was fucking disgusting. I loved it. Like, disgusting in the best way possible. It looked real. It looked like it wasn't supposed to go that way. In the way that even somebody who's been watching wrestling as long as me can still look at that and kind of cringe and kind of wonder if it was a botch, if it actually did fuck up as much as it looked fucked up. Stomps by Strong, some corner chops, and a backbreaker. Chops, jabs, a boot by Strong, a headlock, and another backbreaker. Headbutt by Bate, backbreaker by Strong. Headlock by Strong, and a modified octopus stretch. All of it work in the back. The whole story with Bate and TJP was Bate's leg, and he did it beautifully, and it ultimately led to, you know, a lot of knee bars and not being able to kick out of that cheaty roll-up last night. The story tonight, being sold equally well by Bate, is Bate's back because Roderick Strong does all these ridiculous backbreakers. It's all good. Tyler Bate is underrated as fuck. Jabs by Strong, a headbutt and a jawbreaker by Bate. Uppercuts by Bate, a boot and a running uppercut. Top rope knee to the back of the head by Bate. It's almost the curb stomp from American History X, but not quite. Bridging German suplex by Bate, a back elbow by Strong. Exploders. Anybody that hasn't seen American History X, just go watch it. You'll see what I mean. And it'll fit right in with the people that think what they think about me, because I don't like Naomi. Moving on. Running star press by Bate, which is fucking beautiful. Cradle backbreaker by Strong, kick by Bate, lariat by Bate, pinning reversal sequence, front slam by Strong, and the end of Heartache gets the win for Strong, who's now going for the UK Championship. If somebody can explain that one to me, I just don't know. So you've got an American going for the UK title, you've got all of Sanity and all of the ROH boys going to war next week, which is going to be a fucking fun show for me to review, and you got Nikki Cross, also from Sanity, basically destroying and decapitating Lacey Evans, who, based on last week, I thought was going to start getting a push, but oh no, no, no! Nikki Cross is still a thing. Sorry, Lacey Evans, you're going to need to wait your turn. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.